Very often in the aftermarket world, we may be concerned about the functionality of our scan tools that we have. Sometimes we may have to do a reset after a repair has been made, and we may be concerned as to whether or not our scan tool is capable of doing it. We may feel that we have to have the OE scan tool in order to be able to do these necessary functions. But for today's tech tip, we're actually going to demonstrate how our aftermarket scan tools are very capable to be in performing these functions. And some of these available functions may actually be surprising to you. So we're going to step over to the vehicle now and show you what we actually can do with our aftermarket scan tool. So we have our aftermarket scan tool connected to this 2012 Ford F-250 with a 6.7 liter Power Stroke. Now you can see in the menu of options here, we have quite a few systems that we can actually do functions on with this aftermarket scan tool. But I'm going to select the DPF SCR, and you'll notice the menu that comes in after that. We have a lot of different things that we can do. We have the selective catalytic reduction, or SCR system emptying. That will be a function where we could activate it and empty the tank. If we remove the hose from the injector, that will make the removal of the tank much easier. We can do a refilling activation of the system. We can do an SCR parameter reset. There is a selective catalytic reduction visual leakage check, which I'm going to do here in just a moment. We also have the dosing measurement test, where we could remove the dosing injector out of the exhaust system. We would place it in a beaker and actually test the delivery capability of the system. My colleague, Wayne Bishop, did a very nice video on that, and you can find that on YouTube. We can also do a diesel exhaust fluid injector cleaning. You see that option there on the second level, all the way over to the right. That would be a procedure that would activate the injector numerous times in order to possibly clear out any sort of debris that there may be on the tip. We can also do some things with regard to the diesel particulate filter. We can do a parameter reset. We can do a manual regeneration, but you'll notice that interesting one there in the middle, at the middle bottom. We can do a regeneration suspension. There may be some reason for diagnostic purposes that you want to suspend the DPF regeneration. You can do that with the scan tool. Of course, that regeneration suspension would only last during that session. Once the scan tool is disconnected from the vehicle, then the DPF system would go back to normal operation. Now, let's very quickly do this SCR visual leakage test. Now, what we would do is select that menu option. Now, you'll notice that this procedure is going to pressurize the system so that we can actually go into the vehicle and look for a visual reductant leak. So let's do this. We're going to activate it. And there is a 10-second timeout while the system prepares for the operation. We see a menu now that comes up next. It tells us to make sure that the vehicle is prepared in order to be able to do the operation. The vehicle cannot be moving. Well, of course, it's in our bay. Vehicle's in park, yes. Parking brake is applied, so we would hit OK. And now we're going to see information about the system, that the current line pressure is around 3.5 kilopascals. Currently, the pump is not being commanded, and also other parts of the system are also not being commanded. So when we're ready, we'll hit OK, which I'm doing now. So what's going to happen now is there will be a period of time, should be roughly 5 minutes, where the system pump will continue to run, the dosing injector will not be energized, the system is being pressurized and being held with pressure so that is that we can go around the vehicle now, or go around the SCR system and check for leaks. So we can go under the vehicle and we can look for any external leaks that there may be in the SCR system. So after 5 minutes, we see now that the procedure is complete. Now during that 5-minute window, we were able to go around the system and visually look to see if there were any external leaks, and there weren't any on this vehicle. But now we're told that the system needs to be depressurized and the lines emptied to reset the system. Now that is something the scan tool will do. So the scan tool will take care of that for us when we press OK, and we can continue. And now the system will be depressurized and returned back to a normal state. So we notice after the system was returned to its normal state, we see the procedure successful message on the screen. We press OK, and now we get instructions to turn the ignition to the off position. So hopefully that gives you added reassurance that we can do these necessary service functions with our aftermarket scan tools. Stay tuned for the next tech tip.